Welcome to the club, 'cause you're that kind of nerd.
Hello, and welcome to the club. This is That Kind of Nerd. I am your host this week, Brian Thornton. I'm joined by these two yahoos. Say hello, yahoos.
Hello, yahoos.
Yahoo!
That is Josh and CJ. If this is your first time listening, and if it's your first time listening, CJ always complains that I don't explain how the show works, so I'm going to explain it in excruciating detail. Here we go. So every week or so, depending on our schedules, we all get together to record. We all come with a topic of something, some kind of nerdy thing. Could be something that's happening in the world today. Could be something that happened to us weeks ago. Could be something that happened years ago. Whatever suits our fancy. We go ahead and we bring those topics to discussion. We propose a question, and hence discussion ensues. Much like, I don't know what you call maybe a podcast. Anyway. Whilst we discuss, the host, i.e. me, will actually award points based on how they're feeling, based on what kind of mood they're in, based on any sort of merit the topics or discussion yield.
One eternity later.
If something is funny, that may earn you points. If something is funny, it may deduct points. It is all up to me as the host. I get to choose who lives, who dies, who tells their story, and that is a terrible musical, and I'm the host, so I can say that. Anyway, after I am done allotting points, I get to announce a winner, and that winner then gets to host the next episode, unless you don't have enough time for all of your topics, which then you will do a dual hosting job like I did previously. Now, that being said, on to the show. Hello, gentlemen.
Christian's going to see Hamilton on Broadway tomorrow.
Good for him.
Oh, good.
I think it's awful. I am in the minority. I understand that, but
like
I
a
don't.
severe minority.
I'm fine. It's the same minority of the fact that I hate Avatar as well. I will happily live there, and you
are not
plenty
in the
of
minority
reasons.
of that.
I was in the minority from like 2007 to 2013.
Correct. Oh, yes.
So, did it? And in 10 years, when the shine has worn off of Hamilton and we all look back and say, was it really that good? I will once again be like, I knew it all along.
Listen,
but
it took a long time for the shine of things like Rent to wear off. That held on its shine for a long time.
You're absolutely correct, because it's not a multi-million-dollar blockbuster available in thousands of theaters across the world. That's why. I'll wait. I will eventually be proven right. And you heard it today. Hamilton is not all it's cracked up to be.
Wait, so are you saying that if it was a multi-million-dollar blockbuster available in theaters around the world, it would be a success?
No, I'm saying the shine would wear off quicker because more people would have seen it and would have seen it multiple times.
You know it's on Disney Plus, and
I know it's on Disney Plus,
people have seen it, right?
Sure. But again, it's a Broadway musical. It does not have the broad... Listen, Joe Schmo is not be like, oh, I'd like to watch a Broadway musical. Should I watch Cats or Hamilton? That's not what Joe Schmo is doing. Like, I'm sorry. Like, people like you, theater kids, and people who are interested in the thing, and people who are interested in all the hype are the people who see it. I understand what you're saying. I'm still going to stand firm on whatever wrongness I'm in. I still think
you're standing firm on pretty shaky fucking ground.
That's fine.
Listen, there is no earth around me. I have 1 square foot, but I'm standing here.
Listen, if you want to debate this, if you want to debate this for this story, if this is how you want to spend the episode, I'm fine with that. That means I get all the points for my very controversial take on Hamilton. It's just not as good as everybody says it is.
This is the hill you die on.
This is the hill I die on.
I'm saying, you're dying.
We're understand. You're dying.
I'm not going to change my mind. I'm not going to change my mind.
We know. We're saying you're in a... I don't know if you noticed. Nope. Look up. You're already 6 feet under. You are already dead. You're just a ghost running around haunting the world and going, it's really bad! It's really bad! But you're dead. No one can hear you.
Listen. Are you listening? Listen. I understand that I'm in the minority. I understand. I also do not begrudge anybody who enjoys it, loves it, lives their life by this credo. It's fine. I get the appeal.
Right.
I understand why it's a huge success.
Sure.
It's just not, it's not me.
See,
it's not for me.
I would accept.
Something that I enjoy. Now, that being said, no. I'm not done. My critique on the show is not on the show itself. The show is fine. I think it's overhyped. My critique is on the hype, much like my critique on Avatar was the hype. Avatar is a perfectly serviceable movie. It's way too fucking long. It's got a shit ton of problems with it, but it's a completely fine film. The hype is what I've always had a problem with, and I have a problem with the hype on Hamilton as well. I don't think it's worthy of that.
I would respect the... Listen.
Josh is staying very quiet because I know how much he loves this. And the longer we ruminate on this topic, like the more things he's trying to come up to reasons with why not to be my friend anymore. So we should wrap this up.
None of those things.
I would be okay if you said, I watched it. It's not that good. For me, it's a pass.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I'm okay with it.
I watched it.
No. You're just
I
like,
watched it. I didn't like it.
No, the shine's going to fall off and it's not worth any of this. That's different than saying, listen, I watched it, not for me, right?
I think, listen, I do think the shine is going to fall off. Here's what I mean by the shine is going to fall. Okay, listen, we are way off the rails. This is what I mean by the shine is going to fall off. Right now, let's just pick a number. Let's just, for roundness and simple numbers.
72.
Because I'm a simple numbers, Joshua, let's say 100 people, but we know it's like hundreds of millions, right? Yeah. Let's say 100 people love this show right now. I think, let's say 50 of them genuinely love this show, and the other 50 of them love it because they feel like they have to, because of the hype. Josh is furrowing his brow, but this is what happened with Avatar. Everybody loved Avatar because you were told. I don't think
you can compare the two.
I think it's absolutely the same phenomenon. You were told you need to like it for X, Y, and Z reason. Absolutely the same.
It's not. It's not. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's just not. It is because Hamilton is about a topic that is relatable, or in some way, every American has experienced at some time in their lives this story, right? It's a completely different take on this story. Avatar is not that. Now, and I've always respected the Avatar opinion. I like to poke at it, but I think you're probably in the right there. Not necessarily. I don't recall that kind of hype around Avatar, but I wasn't. I know it had hype. It just I didn't feel it. Right? I didn't feel like I must love Avatar. I didn't feel like that was a thing. So when you draw a parallel between the two, I don't see it at all. And from someone like, look, Broadway shows, I can take them or leave them. There've only been two in my lifetime that actually made an impact on me.
Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, obviously.
Rent and this one. Right.
Don't knock Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. I
loved it. I saw it too.
And because of that, it's one of those. I don't know how much of The Sopranos you watch, but there's an episode where Christopher thinks himself a music producer, and he takes on one of Adriana's friends, right? And he goes to Hesh and he goes, Hesh, what do you think of this? Hesh is like, it's not a hit. A hit in the first 5 seconds. At the end of the episode, the same band, different song on the radio, and Hesh goes, now that's a hit. There's some things that you just know this is a hit. And buddy, this is a hit. And it is a hit.
I'm with you with the fact that A, it's a hit, and B, people like it. And I'm with you on the way that you feel about it. I am not in any way disregarding how either of you feel about the show. A, not for me. It's just not for me. B, you say you don't feel the hype probably because you didn't feel the hype around Avatar. I'm feeling a very different, especially as someone who has been very lukewarm on both things. Right? Yeah. I was not a fan of Avatar from the moment it came out. I'm not a huge fan of Hamilton.
There's tremendous hype around Hamilton. That I know.
Right.
For sure.
And the question is the hype warranted? And B, and you can say yes or no to that. I don't think it is. But the feeling of, oh, you mean you don't like Hamilton? Yeah, I've gotten that all the time. Why don't you? How could you? How dare you not like this thing? I have some severe problems with the show itself. I don't think I don't think. Okay.
Then the problem's not with the show; it's with the people.
I'm not going to sit here. Listen, there's a reason y'all did your Hamilton review without me.
I'm gonna rewind for a second and just give you some facts. Okay. The highest grossing musical of all time. CJ, don't answer. Brian, do you know what it is?
Cats, probably, or Phantom of the Opera.
The Lion King.
Oh, yeah, that too. It's one of those
The
three.
Lion King is the highest grossing musical of all time. It has been running for 26 years. 26 years. Okay? Phantom has been running for an additional decade beyond that. Phantom has grossed 1.3 billion and The Lion King 1.8.
Insane.
Hamilton has been running for 8 years. It is at 800 million. It is the fourth highest grossing musical of all time, and it has been running for a fraction of the time.
I get it. That makes it a successful musical. It doesn't necessarily mean it's
Listen.
good. Avatar is
that's exactly
the
what it
highest
means.
grossing movie
No, that's
in
exactly
the world.
in terms. Listen,
it is not a good movie.
Listen, in terms of musicals, that is precisely what it means.
No, I don't agree with that.
Because musicals don't. It's not. This isn't a movie ticket. This isn't a movie ticket.
You can't take box office numbers. You cannot take box office numbers and say this is a sign of quality. You just can't.
You can for Broadway because that's how Broadway works.
Broadway.
That's not how theaters
right.
work. Like if AMC, right, they're contractually obligated to show a show, right? They bought it, they have to show it, and that's what they have to do. A theater can be in the middle of a run and just say, "Fuck it, we're down. This show is not good."
Let me add to the argument, okay? You said Cats, meaning everybody knows that Cats is a musical. Les Mis is another one where you can say, everybody knows. Like as far as Phantom, Les Mis, Cats, this is what people see, right?
Sure.
Les Mis ran from 87 to 2003, $500 million. Cats ran from 82 to 2000, less than $500 million. These are shows that are part of the fabric of culture, like not just like pop, but everybody knows these things. And Hamilton, in a third of the time, is more successful to the factor of like a 2x than these shows. You cannot possibly argue that. Like you can't say this isn't great. This isn't deserving of.
I didn't say it wasn't
all the hype.
Yeah,
it is.
I disagree. And listen,
okay.
we can agree.
Has the shine on Phantom of the Opera or The Lion King worn off? Has the shine on Les Mis worn off?
Listen, the fact that we continue to make a Les Mis movie every 10 years, probably not. Listen, and
it's about a topic that Americans hate.
The French. It's about the French.
Listen, we're taking an offhanded comment in my intro, and we're going way in the weeds with this. Listen, this is my opinion. It's going to be right or wrong. It doesn't matter. We can revisit this topic in 10 years. You guys love it. I get it. I don't think
I'm not trying to get you to love it. I'm trying to get you to back off your ridiculous.
It's not worth the hype. It is not worth the judgment I receive for not liking this thing. That's not what it's worth.
That's what you're pissed off about.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pissed off about it. I know you're not. I know you're not. You're my friend. It's different.
The problem is with idiots.
I know. I have legitimate issues with the show. I just don't think it's that good.
It's the Eagles fans. It's Eagles fans that are ruining it for him.
Well, yeah, Eagles fans will ruin football for me forever. But man, I'm just batting 1,000 on this podcast.
Right? You can have an opinion on the show of saying this part doesn't work. I don't like the structure of this and that. Right? And just objectively, which Josh and I think even I can agree. There are motifs and things in that show that were just like, yeah. I mean, you could right. It's not perfect, but your problem so much is with the fans of the show more than the show itself.
Yeah,
right?
No, yeah.
Like the Philadelphia
Avatar.
Eagles.
Like the Eagles, like Avatar. Again, this is the same argument I have around football, around Avatar, and now this is the latest of I am in the extreme minority, and it's not that I hate the thing. I don't. I have severe issues with the thing. I just don't.
You have severe issues with Hamilton? Severe.
Yeah. I have severe issues with Hamilton. Yeah.
No, you don't.
Listen. Again, this is not. It's subjective. It's a matter of opinion. I don't care. Lin-Manuel Miranda is great. I've loved pretty much. I've watched Encanto 16 times. I think he's a wonderful musician, writer, lyricist. I get it all. That's not my style of music, so that's fine.
Right.
It's yours. It's CJ's. Cool. That's not my style of music. So first off, the whole show is framed around that. I'm already checked out. All right? And then on top of that, the amount of listen, okay, you really want to get into this? I find it very ironic that there's an entire show where the whole motif is, who lives, who dies, who tells their story about a man who no one knew who the fuck he was until this show, and some people still don't know who he is and what he did for this country.
No one is. That's a stretch.
That's absolutely not a stretch.
No one?
No, because you're educated.
He's been on the $10 bill forever.
Right, and people still think Ben Franklin was the president.
You learned that in grade school.
Yeah, you're dealing in absolutes like a Sith here. Nobody?
Yeah,
that's too much.
Brian,
listen,
too
I'm
much.
exaggerating for dramatic
The
effect.
name Hamilton is taught to every American child.
As the guy who's on the $10 bill. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's all you need to know.
Name
right.
one other,
That's the whole point.
Listen, before this show, you talked
Name one other person that people are taught about that they don't know historically. John F. Kennedy. I'm serious.
My point is
Robert Duvall.
I'm not going to argue. Listen, this is a whole can of worms that's going to have to be chopped up.
Oh no, this is staying as is. This is perfect.
This is as is.
I am not going to argue. We're going on 20 minutes. We haven't even gotten into the show at all. I am not going to.
This is good. My topic was flimsy at best, so this is perfect.
And justify why I feel the way I feel about Hamilton. I will end with this. I started watching it one night and I had to stop because I found it to be fucking boring. Yes, I did. And I had to split it up into 2 viewings. It was a slog for me to get through. It has
You're a slob.
issues. It has
Let me ask you a question. Did you at least stop at intermission? Or did you stop before?
I don't remember.
I'm just saying, like
I watched it when it first dropped on Disney Plus.
Listen, I get up and go to the restroom when they sing "The Room Where It Happens." I don't need it. I don't. I know people do. People love it.
That
and
dancing
hot take.
and listen, I think
I will avoid the urinal crowd, and I will go.
That is very true.
During right there you go. Listen, I think you can say that there's plenty of movies and other shows where you're like, these 10 minutes I could drop.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's fine. Doesn't make the whole thing bad. It's just like these 10 minutes are unnecessary. My critiques about the show are just, it's not for me. It's not my thing. I find the premise of the show kind of amusing, which, fine. It is what it is.
It's the substitute teacher teaching you history with rap.
But that's not something against it. It's not teaching you history. It is the most historically inaccurate thing I have ever seen.
Yes.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No. That is one of the critiques that I have of the show is that
it's so historically inaccurate.
It's based off one biography,
right, which doesn't take into account
everything
all sorts
else.
of shit
and
changes shit to make Hamilton a better person. These are my problems with the show. All right. So here's the thing.
Josh, we agreed. Valid arguments to be made against the structure and the stuff of the show.
100%.
Yep.
100%.
Here's the thing. And this is why, and this is the last thing, like, again, that's just about
this is his third last thing that he has to say.
Brian, tell me the third final word.
The last thing I will say about the hype is this. We have no problem as a community, as film critics, theater critics, we praise this show, we put it on a pedestal. We think it's the most amazing thing in the world. Yet something like The Greatest Showman, the biggest... Listen, you can all you want. The biggest critique, and I did my research when that movie came out, was, well, P.T. Barnum was a terrible human being, and we shouldn't be exalting this person.
Right.
You know who also were not very great people, but still did good things? The founding
characters
fathers
of that show. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, listen, Hamilton and Washington, and they all owned slaves.
Yes, all of
them. They
were
all terrible people. But that's the thing. It's the hypocrisy. It's the hypocrisy that bothers me. Because
I'm with you 100%.
But again, that's fans.
My thing. That's my thing about the hype. Again, I said this was about the hype. That's my thing about the hype. If we're going to judge one, then we need to judge it across the board same way.
Brian, that is not the way our culture works. It is if you refuse to acknowledge this double standard, I will cancel you.
Wait, I love that show on Netflix. Don't cancel it. It's on like 4 seasons.
And look, I get what you're saying. And there are fewer things about life that grind my gears like the double standard.
Mm.
The arbitrary double standard that gets applied arbitrarily. I don't like it. I'm not a fan. But I also don't let that double standard sour me on quality content.
Cool. I agree with you. We are in agreement. We just have different levels of love for this thing. Mine is I don't. I never need to see it again. I never. We have to be.
We have to be able to say at the same time, progress requires suffering, and also times change.
Sure.
And however that suffering gets expressed, right? And whatever people suffer at the time, right? It's all part of the story, right? And you have to be able to say it happened. We've learned from it, and now we do things differently. That doesn't invalidate the story, and so I'm saying this is what you're saying.
Yes,
I'm saying I have a problem with the people with the double standard. Yes, I agree with everything.
But I'm just paraphrasing what you have just said. Now, based on that alone, you'd think that you'd rather stand in defiance of it and say, you know what? This absolutely deserves this hype. Forget the double standard. I stand in defiance of your double standard.
But I don't think it deserves the hype because it's fine. The thing, like again, this is not. Listen, again, I understand why people love it. I understand why people enjoy it.
Just don't at him for not liking it. That's what he's asking for.
I'm not
Just don't ask me for not liking it. All right, that's easy. We can do that.
Just don't be
just don't throw references to it in the middle of your opening, and we won't go on a 25-minute tangent.
It was a throwaway reference. It was a throwaway reference.
It wasn't.
I was making a stupid fucking joke.
If you had just said the line and then not said that's
anything else,
musical.
Perfectly fine.
I can't say the line and then say
sorry.
I'm
not. Listen,
you're allowed to know.
Like, it's just not
you're the one who set up this match,
Brian. I see you.
That.
Okay, I see you. Now I don't need to tell you. By the way, I think that movie's fucking terrible. We can just say the line and move on.
The thing is terrible. I absolutely don't.
Because you know why? Trying to convince somebody it's unobtainium, right? And you just can't.
Brian,
get it.
you don't. You're explaining your punchline, and you don't need to.
That's a CJ move. What do you be better than me? Look what happened. You pulled a CJ, and 25 minutes later, here we are.
Half hour later, here we are. Haven't even started the show yet. You know what? 5 points to Josh. He made some very coherent arguments. I still don't like the thing, but again, the arguments are valid, and I agree with 90% of them.
I don't have a problem with you not. I had a problem with you not liking it, having never seen it. That's what I had a problem with.
I've seen it.
Right. But before,
no. Before
the before times.
I never had an opinion on it before seeing it. No. That's
CJ.
I'm not digging through 299 episodes of this show to find the audio proof. It's just not happening.
I never expressed an opinion about this thing until it came out on Disney Plus. Not
okay. All right.
Like, listen, if you want to get ChatGPT to search keywords in all these audio files, but I don't remember ever saying anything about it.
Okay.
We have to search Hamilton. Is there? Never mind. I'm not opening up this tech can of worms.
CJ, 4 points for pointing out that I pulled a CJ, but minus 2 points for bringing up Avatar again with unobtainium. So
that's a solid deduction. I approve that deduction.
Because listen, I have no problem making and talking about Hamilton references, but what I will not tolerate is Avatar references, period. That being said, I need a nap, but on with the show. We all still love each other, for the record. Right, Josh? You still love me. You still love me, Josh, right?
Of course.
All right, excellent.
Of course.
Plus 2 points because you still love me. Continuing on, I'm sorry, CJ, you wanted to say something that's probably going to get points?
No, I was asking the question. There was a movie or a show, I don't know if it was Community or something else, where there was a massive disagreement and they cut back, and it's 35, 40 minutes, like, fine, we all agree, and everybody's wrong, we're moving on, and then they never bring it up again. That's exactly what just happened with this.
I feel like that's a Community joke.
It does feel that way.
All right, CJ, Please don't tell me you have musical theater as your topic.
Oh God, guys! So I really want to talk about the set design of
minus 16 points.
Sweeney Todd. All right, because my brother went and saw Sweeney Todd, and the chair stopped working the week before, so someone was being, their throat was slit. And they're supposed to go down the chute, but instead they literally had to crawl across the stage at a Broadway multi-million-dollar production starring Josh Groban. But when he saw it, final day in previews, it worked well. No, I would like to give a throwback, if I may. But a throwback to our old format for just a moment, where, as you guys know, I love to go around the internet and find the weird and find the obscure, and then ask for your guys' perspective on it. And this one is just, this is silly, right? This, and I just need to know, is this silly or is this genius, right? And Brian, I think
that's the name of a segment right there.
Is this silly or is this genius? And Brian, I think we came across the same YouTube recommendation that this is a drone called Zipline, right? And the appeal of Zipline is that it's a drone that can deliver a package to you, right? But instead of having this big-ass, noisy, big drone land in front of your house, it drops down a mini droid. Another drone within a drone on a zipline that actually drops down your package and goes away. Droneception happening with it. Now, it does. Now, later on, Mark Rober, right? Mark Rober? Yep. Mark Rober, a very prolific YouTuber and former NASA engineer, if I remember correctly, made a whole breakdown video as to amazing things this company is doing for like like Africa and the third world, and getting great supplies, great stuff. But when it comes to what's going to happen here in the States, it's just a drone within another drone that drops you a sandwich. And I'm just kind of curious, is this brilliant or is this stupid? Now, Brian, you saw the video, right? And you saw the drone in action, right?
So I saw the video, but like, listen, I didn't want to read too much into this because I knew somewhere in the deep bowels of my brain that you were going to bring this up. And I wanted to ask you some questions. So like my first question is why? And is it just because said big drone too noisy, get little drone less noise? Like why do we need this?
Yeah. And I guess for the larger topic, drone deliveries, is this something that we think is actually going to happen? Is this going to be a thing? Or like, I
mean, if I watch season 7 Parks and Rec, it says it will be.
You get your Grizzle box delivered to you.
I get my Grizzle box delivered to me.
Sure. I mean, how many companies have been talking about drone delivery for like 8+ years, and I've never seen one actually happen in the real world?
Well, they're all too busy going to space.
The drones or people delivering?
The people who would fund said drones want to go to space instead.
That's true.
Where they can launch their drones all over the world. It's like a Superman plot.
Yeah. So,
Josh, are you watching this video now?
No, I think that anything that solves for bottlenecks in logistics is a good thing. Anything that improves supply chain is a good thing. And, this is no different than our autonomously driving 18-wheelers, right? Is that a good thing? Well, I think it is. Anything we can do to move things through the pipeline faster, that's a good thing. This seems like, right, if we can, if there are certain areas of the country, let's say, that this improves, or not just improves delivery time, but let's say it reduces the workload of 20% of drivers, 20% of delivery
take cars
drivers
off the road, right? And just free it up.
Well, yeah, but just like, yeah, right? Because you got to think in an urban setting, this might not apply, right? Because you have a whole lot of different things going on with delivery. Right. But in a suburban setting, this makes a ton of sense and would increase the bandwidth of drivers in urban settings.
So what you're telling me is not necessarily less 18-wheelers on the road, just 18-wheelers in different places, possibly
more efficiently.
Right.
The drone wouldn't be able to operate in an area that is urban, because in urban areas you have, instead of building out, you build up.
Right.
And all deliveries go to a central location, right? They go to a doorman, they go to whomever.
Right.
Drones can't do that. But in a suburban setting, a drone could handle that.
Mm-hmm.
So something you said, though, is what's in Zipline's pipeline, which is they want to have a central place in businesses as well as high-rises where there is basically a drone,
like a specific drop zone,
essentially. Yeah, like a chute.
Yeah.
So if you're a small business, you're all right. Hamburger place, right? You're making your hamburger. You put it into this little container. It zips up to the top. The Zipline thing comes in, grabs your bag, and flies away. Or hey, I'm getting my medication delivered, and I'm on the 29th floor of a building. This thing on floor 28 has a chute that it sits into, and then you can just go up one flight of stairs and pick up your package, right? Get your medication. The other thing that they want to do later on, or at least Mark Rober intimated that, hey, this could actually be pretty cool, is you could have a big drone the size of like a flying vehicle, like a ambulance, right? And if you needed an emergency, it would drop down a second little drone where you would actually get into it, and it would pick you up and fly you to the hospital. So in the event of an emergency, right? How many times have you seen assholes not pull over for an ambulance or a fire truck or any kind of emergency vehicle? And hey, time's of the essence, take the sky. That shit's a lot easier than taking, the highway.
I'm a bit more skeptical about
that. Sounds crazy. That's like the.
I'm a bit more skeptical about drones the size of ambulances flying above anybody.
I'm still skeptical of Domino's delivery pizza bots going down the street, so I'm not ready to get into an ambulance in the sky yet.
Look, I can't stop a drone from crashing into a wall or a tree. So, I don't want, I don't know that I want that particular.
If this was an option, Josh, though, for you to get a package delivered to your front door, right? Would you trust it with like groceries? Would you what is the threshold of I would trust a drone delivery for? When does it become nonsensical for you to get something delivered by a drone?
I think you have to limit it to items that couldn't kill a person if dropped from 2 stories up, right? So
I don't have a working encyclopedia of what that would entail.
Well, just think about if
Josh does.
I've given it some thought, if you don't mind.
For instance, I would not want it to deliver me 250 harmonicas, right? Or like a washing machine.
I'm interested into
or a television.
Yeah. Right. Okay. That
250 harmonicas is just under 200 pounds.
Right.
So like I don't want that. Right. And like so what are we limited to? Laptops, tablets, small tech, sure. And anything that is not fragile. Right. This could deliver me my hats all day long.
Literally, I've seen your orders of hats. It would be an all-day-long affair, drone after drone, just dropping hats down in front of the Burns household.
Dropping hats.
Okay, and then again, I still think this has a good application for like food, right? So Uber and Uber Eats and all those things, instead of having a driver deliver it and possibly eating my fries on the way back, or fucking around with my food, put it in a tiny robot and put it on my front door, please. Like I'm okay with that. Brian, what is the threshold for you? What is the threshold of I would have something delivered by drone?
I'm with you. If it can kill me, if it gets dropped by, a couple stories, i.e. like if it lands on me, like in those like old 1930s cartoons and stuff when they were like lifting a grand piano through a window right, yeah. because that's how you pulled things into the high rises back in the day.
I don't think it's changed. I think it still is that way.
It obviously inevitably drops and someone gets hurt or Wile E. Coyote gets smushed or something like that. Sure. If the thing that is being dropped could smush me, no thank you. But yeah, small. I would even take slightly fragile items just because if it comes broken, cool. I'm going to get a new one until one comes to me that is not broken.
That just seems like an inconvenience.
Yeah, I feel you. I don't have hats for it to deliver to me, right? It could deliver me board games, I suppose. Some movies and stuff. But like, I don't know. I think I think we're way. I don't think this is. I think there's a reason we haven't seen the big companies like Amazon do drone deliveries yet. I think we're a little bit too ahead of this just yet. I don't think the general populace accepts it just like they don't accept self-driving cars, and we have that technology. We're just never going to mass produce it, So I think it's a great idea in theory. I think if you're a small business who can't afford and that's the other thing, like, because you kept pitching this as small businesses can do this, right? Like, as a small business, can I afford to do this? Or is it just cheaper for me to hire that delivery driver, right? Like, that's the thing. And that's what I'd be interested in. Less about the tech and more about how is this practically used, and more importantly, how much would it cost me as a consumer? Is it going to cost me extra to get it delivered via drone? Because if it does, I would rather wait. Okay, you'll pay $5 extra, but it's going to be faster. All right, depending on what it is, maybe I'll pay that cost.
Their promise right now is 10 miles, 10 minutes.
10 miles, 10 minutes.
10 miles, 10 minutes.
I can DoorDash my groceries now. Like, I can Instacart anything at this point, right? And get it to me within the half hour.
Yeah.
Like, is it worth it? And like, I just Instacarted some stuff today. I was making brunch. Cassandra was asleep and I had the baby. I don't really feel like getting us both dressed to go to the grocery store. Instacart. Spend $40 free delivery at my doorstep in a half hour for a couple of extra items that I needed to make brunch this morning. I'd much rather do that than worry about, are my eggs going to come to me in one piece via drone? Like, I don't know. I don't think this is.
I do think the idea, though, of big drone then ziplining with the mini drone is a better kind of mousetrap, in the sense of, I don't. If you've seen some of these other drones on the market, they're huge, right? And that shit landing in front, like, that's going to kill my dog.
Right, exactly. If it could kill your dog, not a good idea.
Would kill my dog, right? Because my dog would either run to it and then get chopped up by the propeller blades, or it would just land on my dog and that dog would be squished, right? And this little tiny
I think there's a lot for this tech to go.
Come down with a zip line and zip back up as if it was in a weird SWAT team kind of maneuver. I think that's a better idea. But for me, I think the threshold of getting me something delivered by drone, I don't know. It would have to be a pretty important thing that I needed immediately, that I wouldn't either take the time out of my life to go get it myself. I don't know why. I don't do DoorDash. I don't do Instacart. I don't do any of that stuff. If I want something,
you gotta get with the times,
I'm gonna get it myself, right?
No, dude, take back your time. I will reference you to episode like 4 or 5 of this podcast. Take back your time, bro.
Like other people around, like, I don't even get pizzas delivered. Like, I don't even do
You're doing it wrong.
You're doing it
You're
wrong.
doing it wrong.
Doing it absolutely wrong. So listen, I want to give CJ his due for a second. I want to give CJ 3 points because that topic was not nearly as disposable as you made it out to be.
Yay.
But I'm going to give you an extra 3 points because you reminded me of something I wanted to ask Josh, and I'm going to ask Josh in a moment. But I'm going to tell you need to take Josh's advice, and if you can get it delivered or automated, do it. Because I cannot tell you the amount of time I've saved not having to grocery shop, not having to walk through Target for 3 hours unless I want to, not having to, and money. Quite honestly, it saves you money. And I'll give you the grocery store analogy to begin with. Because you're going to the grocery store, you're going in there to do a full food shopping for your family, right? You maybe have to do this once a week, once every other week, depending on how much you're shopping. That trip is taking you a couple hours, especially if you're wrangling 1 or 2 kids, right? In your case, 2 little girls. I don't care how well behaved they are. There's some wrangling involved, right? And then what inevitably happens? You're going through the produce aisle, you're walking up and down aisles, you see something that you didn't intend on buying, but you pick it up. Oh, Chips Ahoy are on sale. Let me grab those, right? Or your daughters will be like, Daddy, can we get this? Oh, okay, fine. We'll get one thing each. Additional money that you were not intending on spending. Now you're spending it. That trip, and that's not even including all the little tips and tricks and hacks that the grocery stores do in order to psychologically make you spend more money. Great food theory episode. Highly recommend it. That's not including all those tricks and hacks, which do happen to you no matter how hard you try to resist it, right? You walk out of that store probably spending anywhere between $100 or more than what you intended on spending for a normal grocery food shopping. Now, me, a sophisticated fellow who does not walk into the grocery store unless he absolutely has to, I do it all through the app. I say, hey, do we have rice? Let me go look into the pantry. We need rice. I search rice. I put it in the cart. And I just put everything I need in the cart, and that's it. That's all that I put in the cart. I click checkout. I pay the money that I need to pay. And even if I do get it delivered and there's a surcharge or delivery fee on top of that, it's still less than the extra money I'm spending by walking through the grocery store. So, that being said, Josh, thank you for that advice 7 years ago, because it's been amazing. Especially now with having the baby, man, like, it is so much easier for me to drive up to Wegmans, have them put the shit in the car, and drive back than to have to worry about, how am I going to transport the baby? Do we need to worry about X, Y, and Z? Like, do we have enough?
Wegmans deliveries. We do Wegmans deliveries all the time. I don't think we've done a full grocery order in a store since pre-pandemic. And honestly, so look, we're going to talk about it. We need to be honest with everybody. There is a slight price increase online versus in store.
Absolutely.
However, what Brian said is 100% accurate. Going through a store with a child or on your own, there are going to be impulse buys that are outside of what you were planning to spend. That's 100% true. There's also the fuel, but for me, the more important factor is the time. Like, what my time is worth is not. I never get that value back if I go to a grocery store.
Yep.
Versus shopping online. So you're very welcome.
Yeah, absolutely, Josh. But that is not even the topic I wanted to ask you. This isn't even my topic, but I got reminded of something through this topic that CJ brought to you. You said this could deliver my hats to me all day. That's right. I called out Food Theory. By the way, Matt Pat, wonderful YouTube creator. I highly suggest everyone go follow his channels. He has a new channel called Style Theory that I am committed to and subscribe to. And he did an episode on this new trend that's happening primarily in the sports arena. I'm wondering if you know about this. And if you have one or will get one, do you know what the Noggin Boss hats are?
No.
Oh my God, dude. Here, let me show that. I mean, you're probably Googling it right now, but I'll share my screen for CJ's sake as well.
Why are they like that? Why are they
exactly. Why are they like that? So, CJ, just for your knowledge.
Oh my God. Okay.
The Noggin Boss. These oversized hats. They are legitimately oversized hats. You know, like when you would get like a baseball like bobblehead, and it kind of had like the oversized helmet that so like you get a little extra bobble out of it. That is this hat. Or like the oversized.
It looks like a bad skin on a video game.
Why?
This is huge now, apparently.
Yeah, clearly. I'm seeing that.
Ludacris is wearing these hats. It got funded by Shark Tank, and it's just making the rounds. It's becoming the next big thing. I'm guessing this baseball season, which is starting now, if I'm recalling correctly, you're going to see more and more of these things.
Well, you're not going to see them on players.
No, not on players, but definitely in the fans, right? This is and Style Theory, Matt Pat, hashtag Matt Pat, did a whole episode on this about why. Why is this a thing? And there's a lot of different conclusions to it. I will reference you to watch the video to get it. But it is, I don't understand it. I would never wear something like that on my head at all. But it's the equivalent of the foam finger, I think, is the argument. That hey, the attention, look at me, I'm wearing this giant ass hat type of thing and displaying my pride that way. This is not the topic, but it's wonderful. But would you buy one of these, Josh?
No. These are $75. Right? And then there's this giant thing that you know what? I would buy one and only wear it to the movie theater.
There you go. Well, that's the other thing, right? You're a fan. You're sitting in here wearing this giant ass hat. You're blocking the view of the people directly behind you,
and maybe on either side of you.
Yeah,
at this point.
Josh,
it's ridiculous.
Are you ready for this? just because I'm watching Shark Tank as my binge show right now. They came into the tank asking $50,000 for 25% equity. Right, so think of that evaluation. They left with $50,000 for 30% equity with Damon John, the guy behind FUBU.
He's the big fashion dude.
This is stupid.
Yep.
This is so
yes, it is
stupid.
Yes, it is. You're welcome. And I highly suggest go watch the Style Theory episode about it because it's fascinating. I don't know. I haven't seen them like this is primarily a baseball thing, I think. I think you're going to see more and more of these in the stands.
Well, I don't see any like official gear. You know what I mean? Nobody's gotten behind this. And generally, listen, baseball fans,
I think you can customize it, but I also think that primarily college is in it right now.
You can't customize it with MLB. No,
you can't do that, obviously. Right.
Well, that's the thing.
Kind of the whole point.
Fans wear their team hat, and if unless the leagues license this ridiculousness, no.
So what I'm hearing is I should buy you one of these with our logo for Christmas, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
I mean, there are teams that have licensed it. I just don't know if they're local teams or what.
Like the Royal
I could
Blue
see
Noggin?
I could see the Savannah Bananas. I could see
that'd be good. Yeah,
Savannah Bananas. But yeah. So anyway, I saw that episode on YouTube. I said I really should talk to Josh about this. So there you go.
Josh, are you a large or a medium?
Ludicrous?
What
ridiculous.
do you think you would?
What do you think your head circumference is?
If I had to look at that,
I'm a 7 3/4 for anyone that wants to send me a fitted. I'm a 7 3/4 comfortably.
See, I would never know.
$75 for the hat, and then put that kind of nerd logo on it. It's an additional $50.
No, get out of here.
Yeah, they're over $100 for these hats.
People are buying this.
People are buying it. It's a big thing, apparently.
Wait, what was your fitted hat size? Right,
7 3/4.
7 3/4.
I got to go to a large.
Josh, Christian comes to you and says, "Hey, can I have some money so I can get a noggin boss?" What are you going to say to your son?
I will say absolutely, but where will you live after you buy it?
Can you live in the noggin boss?
Yeah.
All right, that's a little fun. Wow, we're just all over the map today. We're talking about Broadway / musicals / movies / tech. Talking about fashion
/ labradoodle.
I don't know. I was going to see what do you have? What topic do you have, Josh?
Yeah, I just have the AI headshots thing.
I do.
I don't know that.
No, I want. Let's do that.
Do you want to?
I think we want to talk about that. Listen, we're gonna listen.
There's some editing.
As much as he says, there's plenty of editing in that first half hour. Trust me. So segue into. Hang on, let me get a good segue.
Speaking of taking back your time.
Segue, Josh. What is your topic?
You fucker. Are you serious?
Oh my god. That was excellent.
It's amazing. It's what it is.
You know what? Take a point. Take a point for yourself.
God.
Just 1 point for you for that segue.
CJ, if you want to give me a future point on whatever episode you
okay, I'll bank it. I'll bank it. Yeah, that's right. I'll bank it.
I will say you are ahead by 1 right now. We'll see how Josh's topic turns out.
So my topic, CJ or someone, I think it was CJ, sent a TikTok into our group chat that showed this guy reviewing something I had never seen or have ever considered, which was AI headshots. Now, I need headshots for my job. We just had a bunch of our new folks, pay for headshots and whatnot. And so I thought I don't want to do a bunch of outfit changes and I don't want to go someplace and pose for these headshots. So this sounds like a good idea. And I checked it out. And skeptical, right? I was absolutely skeptical. But I uploaded the thing is this, you go to this headshot, headshotpro.com. We're not in any way sponsored or affiliated.
No paid sponsor, but we'll gladly take some money if you want to throw it our way.
Yeah, 100%. You upload at least 20 selfies-ish, right? It's not just, selfies, but pictures of your face, your whatever. And they tell you all the rules and they tell you what to look for and what not to look for. You can't zoom in too much or the image is too small, things like that. So, they give you all the parameters, and I found 20 photos, and I, did what I had to do, and I uploaded them. They say 1 to 2 hours, And mine were like a day later, and I'm like, oh, I said to Brian and CJ that this AI is having trouble with my body type for sure. Like that's just not. There's no way that it's just like, yeah, oh, we you know what? We have a whole treasure trove of big guy photos. Let's bring this in. So here's the thing. Here's what I found. Like the pictures overall, they give you, for what I spent, which was $69, they give you choices of up to 6 different styles, backgrounds and style of photo. And then they do all kinds of variations on it. They give you 240 photos for this price point. Now, I found of those 20 that I would say these are 100% usable, acceptable, right? There are absolutely the AI struggled with a couple of my features. The body type was one thing, but my severe brow was another, and it's applying my severe brow in photos that shouldn't have a severe. And
he seems very upset all the time.
This guy is very happy to be angry. Like that's just. I really, really like this service for people like me who don't want to do all the wardrobe change. Anybody who doesn't want to invest the time in headshots but needs headshots. This service starts at like $39 or maybe even less than that. I want to give you an accurate, but it starts at a very, very reasonable price. It is easy to do. And I shared the photos with you guys. Some of these are really, really good.
Solid. Absolutely solid.
So here's what I did, Josh, when I got this. I let my wife know, hey, listen, I let Josh know about this AI thing where it did headshots for him. I'm going to show you the collection that you sent, right? And I want you to tell me which ones are real and which ones were generated by AI, right? And one of these is just very bad. Like the AI was just like, no, I don't think so.
It's a different person.
It's and like your eyes all weird. Like they missed, right? And that's fine. This is what this thing's. Here's a whole bunch of them. So of course there's going to be some bad ones. So I went through and she's like, yeah, no, that's real. Yeah, that's real. No, yeah, no, that's definitely. Oh, that's a good one. The very last one of you in like this gray polo and the bird and the blurred background. Easy for me to say. She's like, oh, that's the winner. That's he looks good and he looks good in that one. That's a good photo. I was like, great. These are all generated by AI. And she's like, no, they're not. I'm like, yeah, they so this came out pretty darn good. And I thought this was really good. And then Brian, I immediately thought of the misses for when
I actually brought it up to the misses.
I was going to say for my theater folk, I also sent it to a few of them just saying, hey, seriously, a headshot session can be $300 to $400 depending on where you're living and what kind of style you're looking for. And as people in theater, we have hundreds of pictures of ourselves to feed this machine, right? Like we can feed this a huge sample size, so we can get back way better results.
Something that I'm not in that world, so I didn't understand until I met my wife is like I remember she got headshots early on in our relationship, and then she changed her hair and had to get completely new headshots. Like every time you change even the littlest thing about yourself sometimes, and it wasn't like she dyed it or completely chopped it off. It's just like it was more curly than her original headshots. Had to redo the whole headshot. She's like, every time that this happens, she's like, this is why I don't dye my hair. This is why I don't do anything drastic. You know,
there's a solid 8 different hairstyles at least in my photos.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't.
You don't support any of them.
I don't. Right? Like I haven't had hair that long. I haven't had hair that long for years, and when I did, right, I did actually, yes, that some of these mirror what I used to have, but man, like I was really impressed with little details. I appreciate them making my beard fuller and more lustrous.
I was about to say, there are some of those pictures that I'm like, that beard is glorious.
I sent a couple of these to Laura.
Shaped.
I'm like, Laura wishes. She's like, I dude, does that make me a bad person? I'm like, no, you're fine. I get it.
Josh, I'm a happily married man, and I had to fan myself at a couple of those pictures.
That's right. I'm like, that dude.
Sir.
I'm debating just starting a Tinder profile to catfish people with this. This is
that guy is wearing that suit.
Absolutely.
Some of those suit shots are good. I'm putting these into the show notes also at some point.
So the other thing is, if you have any body image issues, by all means, you want to make it worse, do this.
Well, and for sure, I'm looking at it like, jeez, this is awful. But like some of the photos that I really like, I'm like, I'm really gonna have to crop some of these so I'm not catfishing people, because that's the truth,
right?
Is you want to. These are absolutely. I take one look and you're like, yep, that is Josh Burns. That is his face, 100%. Wait, has he been working out?
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna have to.
Or go to the listen. I could spend years. I'm years in the gym. Yeah. I'm not going to be jacked like this guy. I thought it was a very interesting experiment. And all jokes aside, the headshots for the most part came out really good. There was a couple where I was like it looked like there was a couple where even the ones that you sent that you said were passable, where I'm like, where are his eyes? They're just like black voids.
Sunken. Yeah.
Like because like we all know.
when it's going to be this big in the corner,
doesn't make a difference, right? You would never know exactly.
Right. For like teams,
that's why like
a website shot, perfectly fine, perfectly serviceable,
100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, absolutely. I think unless you're gonna blow these things up and start handing them out in like casting calls and stuff like that, that's probably not what you want to use this for. But I think for business professional, totally fine.
The TikTok that I sent Josh about this, the guy had some photography equipment. He just hates taking photos of himself. So he just sat down and took over 200 in one span from different angles, right? Gave himself some coverage, which gives more for the AI to do it. And his results are incredible. But again, he gave the machine a large sample size.
A large sample size. And I mean, but the other thing is that what I will say is my work headshot, quote unquote headshot, taken on my iPhone 13 in my kid's playroom.
Yeah.
Like if you pan the camera down 2 more inches, there's like toys at my feet, like, but we needed something quick and it looks solid. So, I mean, you can do I guess the question is, how professional do you need your quote unquote professional headshots to be? Do you need the blurred background, the outdoor shots, the different outfit changes, right? Like for something like me, CJ, I just needed something as a Teams icon to put in a presentation or something like that, right? That's not what this is for, But like if you need something prolific with different outfit changes and you have a large sample size, sure, why the heck not?
And again, $40 is a fraction of the session. So even if you get only 2 or 3 that are, hey, wow, that not only really looks like me, but that's also an outfit that would wear, or hey, that really fits, and you find a good match for $40, that's worth a shot. That's worth the flyer.
Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure I've seen you in that sweater before, Josh.
Right.
Pretty sure I've seen that sweater on you.
If not, by the way, I'm also looking at this going,
you should get one.
I should get a sweater like that. I look pretty fucking good, right?
They're following.
Look at that green sweater. I'm getting that shit, right?
So listen, before I forget, Josh, I'm going to give you 4 points for putting your own money on the line for this show and for this pod, and not for no other reason. You didn't need it for anything else, but you sunk money just so you can discuss this. 4 points for you. I'm going to give 2 pity points to CJ just because he introduced the topic by giving us the link. So thank you to the Tic Tacs. Thank you very much, CJ. All right. So as we go into my topic, just so you all know, Josh, you were at 11 points. CJ, you were at 10. So you were leading by 1 going into that. But then, Josh ponied up some money. And as you all know, this is a pay-to-play type of scenario.
You got to get the DLC, right? You just got to get ahead.
You got to get the DLC. The more money you invest in my show, the more chances you are going to get to win. That is how it works. So he is leading by 1 again. But we'll see. This is anybody's game. It's a neck-and-neck race. We're going to go into my topic. And we're going to date this thing immediately and talk about April Fool's Day. We are filming. We're recording this on April
One day,
Fool's Day.
Brian, one day.
CJ, I'm at the point where I don't give a toot anymore.
I don't give a toot.
You let me know, and we'll make it happen. But anyway, we're recording this on April Fool's Day, and we've talked about this. I don't want to say every year since we started, but every year we've made mention. Every single website company likes to do something a little cheeky, a little fun. Oh, here's an April Fool's Day joke, right? And I came across one, and obviously, we can talk about the article itself, but that's not going to be my overall question. But as I was stumbling across, articles this morning, I actually thought of this because I had a completely different topic, to be honest with you. IGN dropped an article today that I'm sure many people will believe. The Super Mario Bros. Movie voices and Nintendo Switch Online are partnering so that you can go into but multiple Mario games, compatible Mario games such as Super Mario Odyssey, Luigi's Mansion 3, Mario Kart 8, and you can switch it into movie mode, and you will have the voices of the upcoming movie in the game, i.e. Chris Pratt as Mario, Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach, Charlie Day as Luigi. And they're even saying, even in the Nintendo Switch Online, the original Super Mario Bros. That, I don't know, has no voice acting in it. You can turn on movie mode and you will hear Chris Pratt's voice saying, like, Mushroom Kingdom, here we come, after every level, right? This is the article they posted. And listen, this is clearly an April Fool's joke. If it's not an April Fool's joke, I will eat a Noggin Boss hat. It is clearly for the lulz. So, good on you, IGN. Funny article. I got a kick out of it. But my question to you, gentlemen, is my thing is these April Fool's joke articles are not even trying to disguise themselves as real things 9 times out of 10 anymore. But I remember back in the day, either I was more gullible or they did a better job at making it seem legit, right? And I'm curious, does one of these April Fool's thing jumps to mind as, man, I actually wish that was a real thing. And if you need to Google, I'll give you time to Google. 2 spring to mind for me. I will take the lesser known one because I'm sure one of you is going to say the other one. But even before the internet was prevalent in everyone's home, magazines used to do this too. And I remember we used to get Wizard magazine, and Wizard magazine on every April issue would do a fun little April Fool's Day article, but it seemed totally legit. It seemed totally like this is a real thing that is happening. And I remember vividly reading an article about a dark and gritty take on the breakfast cereal mascots becoming a comic book series that had Count Chocula, who's an actual vampire, and the Frankenberries and the Boo Berries, and they were the joke was, we're gonna do a comic book, we're gonna get all these cereal mascots together, but it's gonna be an adult, darker version. And I remember being like, that is really cool. I really like that idea. I will pick that up. And then the next month they would release the new magazine and they would say, haha, that was a joke. Sucks to suck. But I was like, man, I kind of want that. And I still want that because obviously I'm sitting here still thinking about it. What, if anything, is that for you guys? Is there an April Fool's thing that you're like, man, that actually would have been cool, or I would have really enjoyed that if they actually did it?
Well, all right, I'll do the obvious one, which is every year they say live action Zelda movie, and they make really good realistic trailers, and then not
every year. One year they made a very good realistic Zelda trailer,
and I get mad because it should be a thing, and it's not going to happen, and that sucks. But that just makes but now it just makes me angry. It doesn't make me hopeful.
Correction. Depending on how well the Super Mario Bros. Movie does in a week, Zelda could very much be on the table.
No, live action. It's got to be a live. It can't be an Illumination style thing. That's not what.
I don't know if they would. I don't know. We'll see. It all depends. We'll see. But yes, that's the obvious one. I remember an Ocarina of Time fan trailer specifically that they dropped on April Fool's Day, being like, "Oh, this is going to be a real thing." Absolutely would have been awesome. You both are Googling feverishly, something's on the tip of your tongues, but you can't think of it. I'll give you time.
I mean, other than I hate April Fool's
That's
jokes,
my problem. I hate them too.
I do too. I think it's dumb. My wife asked me, said, hey, are you any pranks you're going to pull on the guys today or anything? I'm like, no. I pull pranks 364 other days of the year when people don't expect it. If I pull pranks at all. I will tell you one other interesting April Fool's thing that's happening this year. And this is actually a real thing. This isn't like, hey, this is something that would be cool. On Steam right now, you can go and download a game called The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic the Hedgehog, yes!
Which is not your typical Sonic the Hedgehog game. It's a visual novel game, a la like Phoenix Wright, Professor Layton, where Sonic the Hedgehog has died and you're trying to solve his murder. And I don't know. I have my Mac. I'm tempted to play this. Like, this looks fun.
It gives me Detective Pikachu vibes, if anything, with it. I did see that because I also heard there's a larger meme out about this. And then someone's just like, here's a fucking game. Like, here we go. We made it.
Well, but like, it's from the Sonic devs.
Yeah,
like,
It's actual
put
Sega.
This together.
Yeah. They're just like, we're just going to lean into this thing and make it happen. Most of the stuff.
I mean, good on Sega. This is that, but in my opinion, that's a company doing April Fool's right? Like, hey, here's a fun little game. It took us 2 hours to put together, and it's kind of funny. Here you go. You know,
like I don't mind like the fast food chain stuff. Like, that's right. Left-handed Whopper.
That was
which was followed by left-handed toilet paper.
Right.
And is it sad that I would buy that? Like, that's primed exactly at me.
Just move the side your toilet paper holder's on, bro. Also, isn't your wife and daughters right-handed?
They're all right-handed.
Yeah, you're in the minority, so you gotta deal with it.
I'm in the minority anyway. I'm left-handed. Laura feels me on this.
Very true.
She does.
Yeah, it's the only time the Laura's like, he's speaking the truth. Left-handed world. Yeah, I don't have much. I am curious to see, like, maybe next time when we come back, let's look at April Fools of 2023 and see if anything actually rose to the occasion and the prominence of it.
There's already things falling on its face, but again, fun little topic. Like I said, it wasn't going to take too long. CJ, I'm giving you 1 point for naming the obvious Zelda trailer. That puts us at a tie. So, that being said, whoever Apple pays me the most money in the next 5 minutes gets the win.
Well, we all know how cheap I am.
There we go. And by CJ's own admission, that means Josh is the winner of this episode.
Wait. I don't see him digging out his phone. I don't see that man saying, I'm going to pay to win this episode.
Hey, listen.
How about this? This is a very easy way to decide. Whoever has Brian's face tattooed on their body gets to be the winner of this episode.
Not even that. I am going to declare Josh the winner based on this criteria and this criteria alone. Josh gets a point for every hour I have saved by not having to go to the grocery store anymore. Which means Josh wins this episode to like 10,000 points to 11. Congratulations, Josh. You will be the host next week. Would you like any sort of winner's speech?
No, I'm good.
Excellent. Well, then, that is that kind of nerd. Listen, nerd, I appreciate you sticking around for my ramblings on Hamilton, whether you agree with them or not. I do not care. I also want to thank you for making us your walk around the neighborhood. It is starting to warm up in the Northeast, so I hope you enjoy it. Your drive around your neighborhood, because that's all we do anymore. We don't go to work anymore. Wherever you're doing, whether you're doing dishes, cleaning the house, walking, driving, running, whatever the case may be.
One eternity later.
We appreciate it from the bottom of our souls. And you all have a wonderful day. I will end this podcast by saying that's the end.
It's so dumb. It's so bad.
Exactly. Y'all fucking laughed, and that is all that matters.
I know why Brian doesn't want to host it. It all makes sense.
I'm funny, damn it.
And that's the end. And that's the way.
That's all I have to say
I
about
like it.
that. Terrible.
Just awful. All right.
Well, welcome to the club, because you were that kind of nerd.
That's so you know. In the beginning of the intro, where you're going through your copious explanation of all of this, I'm going to cut it in with one eternity later and get to the end of it. And I'm thinking I may have to put another one.
Well, listen,
another eternity later.
Let me tell you,